Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel. We are working on the goat barn slash chicken coop slash turkey coop today. It's been a little bit since we've done a video on this, but we're waiting for parts for our Ford triple nickel, the Ford 555 backhoe ran when parked that Clint from CNC Equipment brought down to us. So while we're waiting for parts, we're gonna do a little bit more work on this. Check out this vise I got at a flea market yesterday for 10 bucks. Actually up in Clint's neighborhood. We were up in Nashville, Indiana at the flea markets. $10 for this feller. This is that backhoe project I'm talking about. We've got the head out of it. Waiting on some parts to come in. Hopefully we can get this thing going soon because we're gonna need it on the barn project. We're gonna be using some of this material, but most of this goes back to the YouTube yacht. So we gotta get that sorted out first, and then we'll be using some of this poplar too. Of course, everything I need for the goat barn today is, well, it's on the bottom of this stack, so we're just gonna have to throw these on by hand, I guess. Unless I can. I don't know if I can work my way through that pile or not with the forks. Oh, it won't take too long here. So for the actual goat barn, all I need is one 2x6, a couple construction 2x4s, and a couple treated 2x4s. Now I'm going to take the sawhorses here over to the barn because we've got to rip all the batten strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10,000 at the minimum on the batten strippage. The time frame we're looking at on getting back onto the YouTube yacht, I've got some rebar coming in. I've got a bunch of plywood for forming the edge of the concrete as well, stored in the dry over at the house. That plywood will go on the edge, tie in that radius. We got a lot of cleanup work to do on the forms that are already there. Try and get everything rounded up in here, and I got to see how October finishes out. Right now it's going really strong. But it looks like at the end of November, we'll have the money for the concrete. So if October finishes out strong, we're gonna start on the YouTube yacht at the beginning of November and work probably all the way through November until that concrete floor is poured. But people keep asking for updates, and that's how we're looking on that. It all comes down to how the revenue turns out at the end of October. Turns out though, people really like old backhoes. So we got that going for us. I think we're gonna be okay. Whoa. So what we've used for most of the barn siding, aside from what we milled up ourselves when we borrowed our buddy's sawmill, is this is all poplar. We got this from Logger Wade's sawmill, Phil H.'s Timber Harvest. This is 2BC, 2-board common poplar. It's pretty much the lowest grade you can get, and I did that because it was pretty inexpensive. I can't remember what I paid a board foot. I want to say it was around 60 cents or something like that. I'll have to go back and look and put it up in text somewhere. But one thing we have to look for, because it's got all the defects in it, since it's a lower grade, I don't want any of my batten strips to have a knot like this halfway down the batten strip. So we got to kind of go through and pick and choose a little bit. Make sure we're cutting it the best we can. I'm trying to have this set up as efficient as possible so as we cut these we can slide them right into the side by side. I need 24 of them on the front side. We'll get those cut, take over there, and then we'll get the rest of them. Here's the most redneck rip fence I could come up with on short notice here for you. Looks pretty good. Did I screw it? Oh, yeah. How did those go all the way through? They shouldn't reach like that. Add a few more washers here. That's the key. The washer count must have been off. Came back over to double check real quick because I could not remember. 56 1/4. See, I guessed 55 1/4, so. Just gonna pressure wash them off real quick, kind of clean them up a little bit. Roll them over, do the same thing. And while they are drying out, then we can go cut the ones for the sides and the back. Just keep repeating the process. What are you doing? So these are gonna sit here and dry out in the sun, hopefully. Once those dry out, we can start painting them. The next thing is cut them for this back side. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 32, 33, 34, 35 to go down the back side. Fantastic. The turkey bird's in here. I gotta have one of the feeders turned sideways so they can, no, not my hand. One of the feeders turned sideways because they can't fit their big fat head inside that feeder hole. So I gotta turn it a little bit so it kind of free falls out of that for the turkeys. But they seem to, ow, now come on. Is it because I called your head big? Is that what it is? I don't have my top board on yet, so I can't get a measurement for that. So I guess first thing we need to do is level over, chalk a line, and get a measurement on each end for what those need to be height-wise. It's one of those 17 lines. And in case that top one disappears, that's the bottom. Okay, same thing on the other end, and we chalk a line. Listen, I don't mean to brag, but check out my other flea market finds. Look at this. Sledgehammer, $5. 3.5 pound axe, $5. A breaker bar, which people have been begging me to get forever, $5. And an angry welding rod retrieval stick, $5. $20 for all that, $30. $30 altogether, including the vise. That's a pretty good flea market haul. Need 35, that's 77 inches. On the front, I ended up cutting like 26, so I'd have a few extra in case I didn't like the way a couple of them looked, so we'll probably cut a few extra on this. It's gonna be hard though to find 35 of them long enough without a knot somewhere in that path, but we'll do our best. So this is where we're at now. Everything's all pressure washed, leaning up against the truck, drying out. Try to start painting those in the morning. They should dry enough overnight. We got a little bit of daylight left. Got just a little bit of daylight left. I'm gonna go ahead and start framing in for what we're gonna do with the windows up top. Go ahead and throw some boards up. So some people are asking, if we're gonna close this in with windows, why would we go through the trouble of putting the chicken wire in? Well, the whole point that this is up high is in the summertime, we can open these windows and let that hot air out, get some ventilation. So they will be open in the summer, so we need that protection from critters, predators, whenever they're open. They make clear versions of this. They're like a clear 5-rib. They make that kind of clear stuff. I don't want to use that. I want to use like an actual polycarbonate, and you'll see it in future videos, not in this one. The only thing I wasn't sure about is how I was going to open them, the opening mechanism. But luckily, a subscriber came through and introduced me to something I didn't even know existed. It's this. I don't have one in person, so here's a screenshot. It's a greenhouse, whatever the screenshot says it is. Essentially, when it gets hot, it automatically opens itself. When it cools off to a certain temperature, it automatically closes itself. So my thought process is pretty simple because those polycarbonate sheets are 8 feet long and kind of pricey. I don't really want to buy more than one sheet. So we're going to center up an 8-foot opening here, center up an 8-foot opening there, and the rest will most likely just be painted wood to kind of fill in there. Trim a little bit across the top to get that to lay how I want it. Now I need to put this block in right here to cap the end off. 17.5. Well, let's just do this. Tell you what, let's just cut it long. I can just trace that angle on it. Now hopefully we can just shove this up in here and just, let's see, it'll be like that. Get my mark. And we should be able to just kind of slide it right up in there. Chicken wire in the way. Just like that. Run some screws in the top, run some in the bottom. And then we can bring that siding right on out over here, put a corner on it. Okay. Right at 8 foot. Oh yeah. So I'm pretty happy with what we got going on here. I got this end capped, or this end piece on as well, so that'll be a good starting point for me in the morning. So it is the following morning. Everything dried off pretty nice. Got a little paint rack setting up here. Go do the same thing we've done in the past with the boards. Just go take a hand plane and knock down the edges. Kind of gives me a chance to go through and face them too, see which side I want out on some of these. I'm ready to start painting these. I'm just gonna paint all 4 sides, roll them. If it sticks to the 2x4 a little, it's gone to. That's just where we're at. The paint's still a little chunky, kind of resembles cottage cheese, and it's got some flakes in it. It's been in the bucket for a long time, but I don't care. I think it'll be fun, and if it's not, then it won't be. You know, that's just the way it goes. It either is or it isn't. And I'm trying to figure out where to put you guys. I got this hinge off a Subaru. We could try that. So I've got that framed in how I want it all the way down now. So I'll have two 8-foot windows, got that polycarbonate, and there's a mark somewhere in there, somewhere in there. That'll be solid wood, just like the wood siding for the rest of the barn. And about a foot on each end will be that wood siding. That'll be a great place to use up a lot of those offcuts from whenever we were going through and cutting things off for the batten strips down below. Be a good place to use up some of those offcuts. I am debating too, honestly, not getting those greenhouse openers and just making it so those windows just flop down. When it starts getting warm and we want that airflow, just flop them down. And then sometime in the fall when it starts cooling off, put them back up. You know, just do it twice a year. I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth on that. I don't have the hardware, so I'm not hard married to anything right now. But before we can go to that next step of getting all that wood put on, which we do have, I've got to either order some flashing or make some flashing. If I had a brake, I'd make it out of some old rake trim real quick. But we need to flash over the top of that. I'd like for it to kind of clip onto that down and come out so that if we get any snow melt or anything like that up here. I mean, it's pretty protected from rainfall, but if we get any snow blowing up on there, it'll keep all this wood protected and keep have any leaks up on this top edge. So that's as far as we can take that step, but we've got a plan now. So if you are new to the channel, this side of the operation is going to be goat pens. We're going to have 2 goat stalls, and that'll be a sliding door that opens out into the field. I want to go ahead and build this goat dividing wall right here. I've got the time. I might as well just go ahead and knock it out. We'll just cut one that goes all the way back to here and out to the end of this. I think I'm just going to make a cut list and take it over to the pole barn. 76 bottom. Should be the last one we need, but like this one, this whole knot section takes up, you know, 42 inches of the board. It takes up from there to there. You can't use, or I can't use any of that for what I'm doing, but I can get 3 foot off this end. So just trying to go through and use what I can here. It is pretty though. It's kind of got that rainbow effect that poplar gets sometimes. Still might be worth kind of hanging on to. I'm just gonna make some pencil marks to notch this. We're not gonna get crazy with it by any means. This will all get pressure washed at some point, by the way, once it's all in here. And most of it, we'll take a bleach mixture when it's all said and done, because you see this, some of this has some mold and mildew on it from just the way I've had it stored. Oh, I got some shorter screws I got to get. It's got some mold and mildew on it, so after we pressure wash it, we'll take like a bleach mixture type thing and just spray the whole inside of the barn. Picked up some 2-inch screws just for this occasion. Forgot I had them. Never be an issue. They're sneaking under the wall behind you guys. Need something softer than this gravel to kneel on. Okay. It's not really softer, but it's not as pointy. There's the turkey birds. What do you say, girls? Come on. You're not shy, are you? Oh, the utter disrespect from that one. I mean, I'm building you a home These are screws. You don't want these. Like a 1/4 inch off from just sliding right in there. How's that fit? Beautifully. Like a clearance set of gloves, huh? I'll take it. So you walk in, chicken's over there. Looks pretty good. Looks like a bar you'd see in Gatlinburg. I don't think they're serving the drinks we want here, though. Let's see if we can figure out this chain link problem. So I'll have to cut it down. But the idea is kind of right in there. So, I need my... Wrong side of the fence, fellas. There we go. Well, there's the thing I didn't consider, the length. Doing all this cutting for nothing. Shoot. Well, that's silly. You know what would be easier? I don't even need the frame, do I? Because I can just staple that to the wood. It would look nicer, though. But I could just staple it to the wood. I just need the chain link. I just need to put the fence up there, secure it in place, and trim it. Found some fencing staples that survived numerous throwaway sessions. Okay? Listen, save that piece of plywood. You'll use it in 27 years, I promise you. And I got some channel locks too. So this is the way. Needle nose is a lot easier, but I didn't have any handy. I had these handy. I'm looking around like there might be some behind you, but there's not. If you hold the staple like that, you know, saves your fingers. Yes. Hey, my brother Tony stopped by. He wanted to check out the backhoe, so we gave him the grain tour on it. He wants to know the over-under and how many hydraulic hoses we blow first time it fires up, and I think that's pretty optimistic that he thinks we're going to get it to fire up. So, you know, we got that going for us. Here's what we look like with the fence here. Let me just walk you through the thought process. We've got these old barn doors. There'll be another divider. There'll be 2 goat stalls. This door will come here, hinge on this post, and it'll open to where it closes this entire opening, closes that entire opening off. So in the summertime, we can open that sliding door can be open, and the goats have full run of out into the field and in their little pen if they want. And then we can leave this open so the chickens, like that one right there, have full run in and out of the barn however they want, but then it's all cordoned off so the chickens can't hop over and mess up the goats area and vice versa. Same building, separate areas. That's kind of what we're going for. And so far, I'm pretty happy with it. Chelsea's got a roast. Chelsea's got a roast in the cast iron on the oven right now. And she made a homemade apple butter today. So I'm pretty anxious to get in for some dinner in a minute. I want to go ahead and get this fly rafter on. So we're just going to measure, cut one close, hold it up here and trace the angles because I can't remember what these are. Should be able to do 92. And then we're just gonna go ahead and cut this 2x6. Oh, I can't reach that one, there's no way. Let's do this. And also mark Yeah, you know, something like that. Okay, it's got a real good bite there. Oy. Could go ahead and put this on too. By the way, the wobble in this, it's not the structure, it's because you're sitting. I keep putting you on this stuff and it's got a little flex. I apologize. But it's part of hanging out, you know. If you want to ride long, that's what you gotta. You know, a little Dramamine might help you fellas out. Go ahead and slap this piece on real quick. Need that to make sure we're, yes. That'll work. Work beautifully. This doesn't matter up here. Soffit, okay? And I'm gonna hold this up just a little bit. Just a little bit off. Oh yes. This is looking all right, man. And that roof flashing, now we can run that roof out and around. Probably some screws sticking out there, that'd be all right. That won't hurt anything. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of the batten strips cut, painted on 3 sides, at least 1 coat. That's a pretty big step. We've got the window framed in and ready for the next step on it, which will be flashing across there. Then the boards and the windows. And we got this divider in here for the goat stalls. And of course the flyer after we just did that little bit of trim work. She looks good sitting here in the fall trees. Next video, we are right back on this. Hopefully getting those batten strips installed, finishing up the roof trim that we've got to do yet. I want to go ahead and try to get the other door built on this end. We've got a little solar like door hatch thingamajig, very technical term. For the chickens on this end, we need to get installed as well. We're gonna be right back on it and keep going with it. So I'll probably have one more video on the goat barn, and then we'll have to save up a little bit more money to get the last few touches like the sliding hardware, the soffit, the fascia, that kind of stuff. We'll have to save up for probably a little bit longer before we get all that in. And then we'll be hopefully back on the backhoe. We should have all the parts in. Probably have to do it in 2 parts. I was hoping to do one video of putting all the engine back together and firing it up. So we'll probably have one video of getting all that put back together and the head put back on, and then another video of getting the starter put back together and the transfer pump on the fuel pump cleaned out, and then trying to fire it up. Probably do something like that. And then November is going to be just YouTube Yacht Mania. I'm going to build you up for it, but there's a good reason. We're just going to be going crazy on that. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you enjoy everything we're doing. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful fall weather like we are here. Absolutely stunning right now. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.